Hey there, Good Place fans. Welcome to the AfterBuzz TV Good Place After Show, where we're going to be talking about Season 3, Episode 3, The Snowplow. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Spirit fingers! Spirit!
Hit it, pun? Spirit fingers?
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Boom!
I've been warming up all week for it. I'm ready.
Welcome, everybody, to the AfterBuzz TV After Show for The Good Place. We're talking about The Good Place Season 3, Episode 3, The Snowplow. I'm your host, Alana Jordan, and today joining me, Sayrie.
Sarai! In the house.
I'm so stoked that this
Yes.
season is just getting better and better and better. What
It's
do
like
you think
wine.
of this season
Red
so
wine.
far?
It's aging gracefully.
Yeah.
The more trouble they're getting into, the more delightful I am. I'm excited about it.
I like that each episode too, the way that they've been having it, each chapter broken up, that this is a direct continuation.
Yes.
So last episode we left off with Michael and Janet stealing the doorman's
and going back to Earth.
key.
Yeah.
Going back to Earth. And now we see them back on Earth, kind of freaking out, like, what have we done? What have we done? What have we done?
Yes.
Their key starts ringing.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? I wish my keys would ring when I lose them.
Yeah, I wonder what's ringing though. Is it the key or is it the keychain? Like, is it just the key? Just
I feel like
has
it's got to be the key, because the key is made of
itself.
all of the elements, whereas the keychain is just a doorman, just like
But
frogs.
it looks like any other key you would open up a regular door with. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't even look too fancy.
Do not duplicate.
Do not duplicate. It looks like my mailbox key, you know? And it's ringing.
So end up talking to the judge, and the judge is saying, basically, what are you doing? You guys are totally screwed now. This was a big mistake.
Yeah.
And Michahel's trying to play it off like, oh, you're breaking up. One of my favorite lines, though. It's a magical key, you dick.
Oh, Michael, you know?
I'm telling ya, Maya Rudolph,
She's great.
she's just a
great.
champion. She is our angel on earth,
Yeah.
I think.
She's great. I love her. But I'll let you finish.
Oh, no, go ahead.
As soon as I saw them going back to Earth, immediately came to my mind, like, this is going to be even more interesting because they only can go and get into more trouble at this point.
Yeah.
Every time they go back, it's always something crazy that happens. And now that Janet's there too, I was like, okay, yeah,
It's
I was ready for it.
crazy.
I was ready for it.
And this episode, too, they kind of dive in a little bit more to the philosophy, which we'll talk about a little later on in the episode. Be sure to stick around for the whole thing, because we're going to bring out our own virtual chalkboard and chalk it up to Cheaty. Talk a little bit about some of the philosophy that they touched on this episode. But one of my favorite jokes in this episode, too, is that they come to the abandoned floor. He's like, oh, is this just for storage?
Yeah.
No, it's the journalism department.
Hilarious.
Ooh.
I think
Bad
the writers
for
are
the world,
having
good for us.
Yeah, the writers are having a little fun with this, you know? They're implying certain things, for sure.
And Janet, unfortunately, doesn't have any access to where the accountants are. So since now they've left and they're on Earth, they have no idea what the point balance is. They don't know what's more or less. They know that Eleanor's probably losing some points because she's farting and blaming it on her chair.
Yeah. I thought that they were doing better because they do the 3 months and they do another 3 months and then they jump forward to 6 months. And I think Eleanor's the only one that's kind of like holding on to it. But I feel as though all of them are doing a lot better. You know,
Well,
Simone
right now
and
we're kind of
Judy.
just talking about the beginning.
Oh, okay,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So at this point, at the very beginning of the
Yeah.
episode, still
Struggle.
Yeah, they're still
struggle.
struggling a little bit. Jason points out, her chair's a little stinky, but it's still the. My thing is I'm like, if you lose points for farting
yeah,
and
I was
blaming it
thinking
on
that
a
too.
chair, I'm going to bad place just on that alone.
Yeah.
That's constant.
I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about that. That's crazy. Farting will get you to hell. Like, I've never heard of that before. You know, I hope that's not a thing.
I don't like it.
Yeah, and
like
burps
it.
may get you to hell too. I don't know. Just keep all your bodily fluids inside because I guess the devil it's associated with the devil. I don't know.
One thing though that I absolutely love that is probably of the bad place, but I don't even care. Delicious cupcakes, which Simone brings in to celebrate because the neurology department has approved their grant, and then. Eleanor, I love this Simone-Eleanor dynamic, too, because every time that Eleanor starts with her Eleanor crap, Simone is there to shut it down. So when Eleanor's like, I'm not really part of a group. I don't really like the group dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing that I hear is the first note of somebody singing happy birthday.
Yeah.
And then she's like, or, counterpoint, these are delicious cupcakes. Get over yourself and eat them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Simone, I'm loving more and more.
I wonder if the tussle is there because deep down rooted that, Eleanor still likes Cheaty. I'm wondering if that's going to come out.
Well, at this point, Eleanor doesn't know she likes Chidi because she doesn't know all of the backstory. So we know that there is a connection there, but in Eleanor's mind, there isn't any sort of competition because she doesn't have those feelings for Chidi. She's just feeling good that she's part of a group. So it will be interesting to see how that could potentially change. But
Yeah, I think she kind of subliminally feel that way. I think
maybe.
We won't see it develop until later episodes, but I definitely feel as though she can sense something. And it may be more, instead of her wanting to stay just because of she want to be part of the group, I think she also wants to stay because of Chidi in some ways. Like his philosophy and the way he kind of mentors her, it's something about her, like she feels like a good person.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's more what it is, though. I think it's more of a platonic thing. I think at this point it's not really a romantic thing because she's been trying to set Chidi up with Simone anyway, and she really sees her as her friend. So they're finally kind of part of this team. You know, everybody in, say ventromedial prefrontal cortex on 3. 1, 2, 3. Ventromedial prefrontal cortex, go Jax!
Did we get it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
So yeah, the way that this episode is broken up, we get to see an entire year of their life over this one episode.
Yes.
So we see, you know, Eleanor kind of back in her old ways. 3 months forward, we see that, you know, Eleanor is saying that she doesn't have any money. She's asking Chidi for some help. They decide, though, Michael and Janet, that having a job is going to be a distraction from her become a better person lessons.
Yes.
So they just decide to meddle a little bit more and give her an $18,000 scratcher.
And according to Tahani, that's nothing. Yeah, that's crazy. I wish that exists in life.
That's what I'm saying. Where's my good place architect?
Because I could use 18,000 real bad.
I know, right?
That's interesting though. The way they saw things in the TV show is very interesting because they could have done a million different ways to like fix the situation. Maybe have the group chat sponsored or something to where the classes are free and maybe they give you a little extra stipends or something. But no, lottery ticket, 18,000.
Because it's the easiest answer. That's what Michael goes for. He's like, what is going to solve my immediate problem? Not looking at the long term. Janet seems to be the kind of the voice of reason.
Very
that's
honest.
like, hey, this could have some effects later on that Michael's not wanting to care about. Meanwhile, it probably does have some effect that Janet is telling poor Ken that his mom is actually his aunt.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Her
like,
honesty in this
Janet,
episode. Yeah.
Janet, rein it in. But then we see 3 months even forward into that. This was pretty cool, though, because this is when we start to see a little bit more of the philosophy in the background just on the board. The belief in the soul is kind of referenced. And we'll talk a little bit later on in our Chalk It Up to Chidi segment about the differences in kind of nihilism, because that seems to be what they're kind of focusing on a little bit, touching on about the importance of basically finding intrinsic value in life. So
this show definitely delves into like philosophy. It is a philosophical show for sure.
Yeah.
I feel a little smarter just watching it.
I like
and
it.
morally, definitely it does tap into morals. It being a show about getting, heaven versus hell, I guess naturally it would kind of tug on your strings, so to speak, of how are you living life? But back to that fart thing, I don't know.
I know,
if it's
right?
that easy to go to hell, I don't know.
Stop with that farts. Like, I'm not,
that
don't blame me on that. Don't blame me on that. I'll eat what I eat and I will suffer the consequences.
I will eat the broccoli.
See, you're better than me. I'm just like, cheese.
So you're there. Oh, gotcha.
That's my fault. But, man, Manny Jacinto, every single scene that he is in, he just absolutely steals it. Having Jason talk about the Jags and how it's annoying for him to have to watch it at 3 a.m. because Australia is in a different zone of time.
Yes.
Which he feels sounds stupid, so he calls it a clockland.
Yeah, clockland.
Different clockland.
Zone of time instead of time zone. Of course, he's like, zone of time would never work. Let me just call it Clockland. Jason he said a lot of dumb stuff this episode, which is what we expect, and that's what we love about the most
clock
about
rocks.
Jason.
I love it.
The Jaguars cheers, let's go Jags, kick their ass.
Let's go Jags, kick their ass. Yeah. See, you learned it. Look at that.
Yeah, it's catchy. And he was like, it may take you all day to learn it. And then everyone's just looking at him like, oh, he's just so cute. If he wasn't so cute, he would just be
so cute.
Yeah.
Which Janet also is feeling still, because when Michael's saying, I want to help them out, I also want to maybe get them some newer computers. Why not? And Janet's response is, if I'm going to be at the mall, I could get Jason some jean shorts.
Hey.
Meanwhile, I'm like, yes, get him them jean shorts. Everything I'm like, everything you're describing sounds great. My pen just hopped into my water.
Oh.
Oh, look at that. Anybody who's not watching on YouTube is like, what is happening?
And Tahani, she's feeling the same way too.
Tahani, yeah, feeling mad horny.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that he's like he's the sex appeal in the show. You know,
well, it's like, it makes sense
Michael.
because Simone and Chidi are kind of paired up already. And if it's just this group dynamic, that kind of leaves Jason.
That both are going for Jason.
Yeah, and she's just really, looking for like
Love.
a little hookup. She's not looking for like a deep connection until she reconnects with the
Larry.
forgotten Hemsworth Larry.
Yeah.
I love this. I love that they referenced Larry Hemsworth in the first season, and now we're getting to meet
Larry Hemsworth in the flesh, ex-boyfriend who is supposedly on the outside perfect, but on the inside he is very insecure.
Yeah, I know.
They say that he has 0% body fat, which is probably not true because you would be dead.
Close.
And like perfect jawline, everything, but he's just like, I'm fat,
I'm only 6'4" and have this forgettable face. I'm like, get out of here, get out of here. Yeah. I do love that. It does make sense to me that Tahani would be with Larry because they're both awesome in their own right, but they both feel this insecurity because of their famous siblings. So to me, it makes sense where it's like, okay, like you have this whole thing about Camilla. So he has this whole thing about his brothers. It makes sense that you guys would get together.
I think he's a lot worse though. He's definitely 10 times worse. He's a pediatric doctor, and I mean, he's just like, look, my job is horrible. You know what I mean? He really does hate himself.
Fixing babies' spines is just as important as acting.
That was a great impersonation. That was great.
Thank you. I also have to say, shout out to the Tahani pun. I love puns, which is part of why I love this show so much. So when Tahani's like, it was a smashing success. Get it?
Everybody over 18 is going to get that one. Yeah. Maybe over 15. I don't know how your life grew up,
I love it. And then having Jason get to meet his Jaguar fan club and get to hang out so he didn't feel upset about Tahani dissing him. This was actually, I think, a pretty good move on Michael's part. Unfortunately, 6 months later, we get to the end of the full year cycle. This I did love, though, because they opened it up with Eleanor singing Happy Birthday to Chidi, whereas 9 months prior, or a year prior at that point, she had said that the worst thing that she had ever heard is the beginning of somebody singing Happy Birthday. Exactly. So we do get to see this
growth.
Yeah.
In small ways.
I love that. The writing on this show is so perfect. Just that one little subtle, like her just singing Happy Birthday that you're like, oh, she's made some serious progress.
She's got over her Happy Birthday hate for whatever reason. Didn't know that was
Eleanor,
a thing.
And the super board, which I love. Super board, make an announcement. Unfortunately, Michael's plan worked too well.
Yes. He fixed them. He basically essentially fixed them.
Now Tahani and Larry are in love. They're going to get married and go back to London. Not how they wanted things to work out. That big old ring on her hand, though.
Yeah. But my thing is, at what point does he feel as though he's done his job? Is he going to just try to micromanage them until their actual death time or what? Because at this point, he did, in my opinion, I feel like he did accomplish fixing them. They were all living a great life and they were all pretty much positive, and the job was done in my eyes, but I guess he still wants to go on more. So when will he...
That's pretty much what Janet is saying. Is she's like, we should probably just let them go on their own and let them figure out their own stuff and just hope for the best. And Michael wanting to have that complete control because now he has found meaning to his life, and these 4 people are the meaning that he has assigned, is that now he's like, no, this is my reason for being. Everything that I have, this is the only thing that is important. And he keeps stressing that this is the meaning that he has assigned to his own life. So for him...
So you think it's about him at this point?
I mean,
it's just...
in some degree it is. He's really, really wanting these people because he's also gone through this transformation. He's become a different... I want to say person, but really, I guess from demon to person.
Friend. He's a friend now. He has friends.
And I don't know. I loved the whole setup. I loved when Tahani has her big party to announce it. Her Airbnb.
That was nice. That was a great one too. Is that that's technically a pun too.
That's a pun. Yeah,
that's a nice one. That's a
Air
nice
with
one.
an H. I was like, all right, I got it.
As soon as they walked in, I was like, wait, what Airbnb
Islands,
is
blimp
this?
hangers.
As soon as they walked in, I was like, come on, guys, this is far-fetched. This is not an Airbnb. And then when they spelt it out, Heir, I was like, got it.
And then Michael coming in with his brilliant pseudonym, Nathaniel Cookswell. Because, of course, if your last name is Cookswell, you should become a chef. Just makes sense. It just makes sense. And then even just the little subtle things of British Larry saying, do you work for TMZ?
Yeah.
not buying that they are caterers. Of course, not knowing that they're actually
They're sneaking up on
ethereal
them.
beings from a completely different realm. But he thinks that they're working for the paparazzi. I mean, that would make sense. That would make sense.
He's kind of stuck on it too. The way he's insecure, he's also kind of vain. You know, which is interesting. His character is very kind of complex.
Same as Tahani. They're very similar. That's why I feel like they work out well, is because they are so similar. Whereas Tahani and Jason were complete opposites, and we know that opposites attract, but I don't know. I still ship Tahani and Larry and Janet with Jason, but that's just me.
So you want Janet with Jason over...
Always, yeah. Of course. The original.
Original. Yeah, I guess I can see that.
Now, this has gone completely awry for them, though, because now that they're going back to London, this announcement has made Chidi and Simone kind of reevaluate some things. So they're saying we should probably take a break from the study completely for a whole year and then re-engage it with some new subjects. Eleanor does not take this news very well.
I'm not sold on it either. The way he says it is like a year or so. So depending on him maybe getting married to Simone and having kids and just growing another life where he doesn't want to babysit these 4 adults, that could, or 3 adults, then that could drastically change. And I feel like Eleanor didn't feel confident in that 1 year,
That seems to be what it is it's like, it's difficult for her to even have the idea of taking a break, which... One thing that I'm very happy about is that here on AfterBuzz TV, we never have to take a break from all of our favorite shows.
And that's because, hey there, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans, but we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did it in the comments, and we'll say thank you on the air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us on the ESPN of TV talk.
Whoop, whoop. Woo! And thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah, and thanks for watching us read it.
Now, I also love talking about the whole Janet and Jason thing. How Janet is still so hung up on him that she keeps accidentally dropping in these like little Freudian slips.
She's got it bad, man.
She's got it so bad. She's like, what about Sweet Cheeks? I mean, Jason's butt. I mean, Jason. I'm telling you, unless I see this man in some shorts that Janet has purchased by the end of this season, I'm going to feel like we had...
No. So you're a team Jason in shorts for sure.
Always, always.
I don't even know how the baby would come out. Her being not necessarily a robot. I'm not even sure. Yeah. So I don't even know what the baby would come out to be.
I don't even think they could have a baby. I don't think that that's possible. I don't know. I mean, she did create Derek. And things are weird when Janet creates people.
That is true. And he came out horrible.
Yeah, not great.
She could have made someone more attractive, but
Derek. Yeah. Oh, I love him. He's one of my favorite actors. I think he's so cute. But Michael too, offering Eleanor the shrimp. As
like, I'm always good for that. Yeah, I'm always good for that.
Season 1. I love all the throwbacks in here. And she's saying, now I'm going to have to start from scratch. And having her there with the shrimp and having these tiny little references back to season 1 where you have this, is it going to be a situation where she has to start all over?
I don't know. Splits. I wonder if each season they start resetting the button and starting over every season. I wonder if that will get old. I hope they somehow reinvent a storyline where they can go to season 4, if there's going to be season 4.
Oh, there should be, I hope.
And add more characters as opposed to just saying, okay, we're going to see whatever we just saw over again. You know what I mean? Although they did it quite well in season 2. They did do the reset button over, but it became a thing, but it wasn't too stale. But I feel as though if they have to reset it again for Earth,
each season kind of takes on its own personality. So season 1 was very different from season 2, which we're seeing is very different from season 3. But having all of these little references thrown in, and even Michael talking about his own kind of progress where he's saying, I understand. I know what it feels like to feel like your little team is the only thing between you and oblivion. And going through this whole really Kierkegaardian kind of like...
Wait, which...
Kierkegaard. Kierkegaard is a philosopher. So Kierkegaardian.
She just drops words like that into conversation. She's that cool and that smart. My friend Plato was just, But it's like, it makes sense.
sense that there's this nihilistic attitude that's drawn in. It's like, is there any meaning to life if, you know, or is it just all intrinsically meaningless? And so I love that they have this connection, and he's saying, you know, if this means so much to you, if this group means so much to you, it probably means just as much to everybody else. You're all just waiting for somebody to say it out loud.
Definitely
so just,
part of the
just say what you
snowplowing.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely snowplowing, trying to melt that ice of Eleanor's icy cold heart.
I wonder after this, I wonder if Michael would get to the good place. Because he's changing, like you just mentioned, he's changing quite a bit as a character as well. So I wonder if
he
that's
was
an
assigned?
option for him.
Well, it's not really an option for him because he's not human, so it doesn't really work. I feel like they'll find something for him, though. It won't be a traditional demon set. It'll be something different. I think. I don't know, maybe. But poor Eleanor uses this as kind of a way to say, look, I want you guys to stay. I want us all to stay here. This has meant a lot to me. I'm just going to say it. You know, I know that you guys have other places to be. I know that you have better things that you can do. We all do. Well, maybe not Jason and I. We're straight trash, but everybody else.
Jason's like, oh. I love that he's not even smart enough to know when he's insulted, you know?
It's so cute,
Usually you
though.
can
It's
pick
part
up
of
on that.
his
That's like
appeal.
at the base. You know?
But having them say, this means so much to us, but, and just that one option of, oh, this could be taken away, Eleanor just loses it. She switches, you know, I don't need you guys don't need me. Since you don't need me, you don't need my face on your cake, so I'm taking it. And she just, you know, throws a whole little hissy fit and walks out, is hiding behind the bushes, waiting for
that everyone
her
can see her
cab.
behind.
Where she's like eating her face cake, which I would do the exact same thing. So I'm like, all right. But Simone comes out and sees her. Another reason why I love this Simone-Eleanor friendship so much that is blossoming is that Simone is the one who is saying, look, you're my friend. I see my friend behind a plant. My friend is now lashing out at me, doing her traditional Eleanor, like, just attacking. So Simone kind of puts in her place a little bit. But then when Eleanor is like, look, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm acting like this. Please help me. I don't know what's going on. I haven't really tapped into this aspect of myself. And Simone does give that little solid burn of like, maybe you just need your binky or a child psychologist, but then gives her some really good advice, which is the whole basis of
Us versus
humanity.
them.
The intrinsic, like us versus them. You go back to the early, like very first people giving up some of their own personal freedoms to work as a group, to hunt, to gather, to help each other, to not get eaten by lions.
Which is probably very important.
Mine.
Yeah, that was top of the list back in the day.
And then evolve to us versus them, which is the idea that our group and other groups are all equal and that we all work together.
Yeah, the first one was me versus us.
Yeah,
And
me
then
versus
us
us, and then
them.
us versus them. So she's kind of talking about how this is the first group that you've ever had as part of your identity. You've always tried to push people away, and now that this has become important to you, you're not used to having this sense that you have people that you want to rely on and that you can rely on. So when you feel like it's being taken away, you're now scared of being alone or potentially just a bit of a dick.
And I think that's a part of her character changing for the better. Because when she's a dick, for lack of a better word, you know, when she was
We're not in the good place anymore.
Yeah,
We can
we're
say
you
it.
know
We can say
whatever.
it.
We're in a bad place. This is the AfterBuzz, great place of whatever.
This
in
is
the bad
Earth.
place.
Earth is a bad place.
But basically, I think with her transformation into this good character, I think she also wants to depend on other people. When she is the a-hole, the reason why she is a-hole, I'm saying a-hole. The reason why she's an a-hole is because she don't care about people. She's very rude. She's all about herself. She's self-centered. And that's why she was in a bad place. But now that she's becoming better, I feel as though she does, like, can sense that some people are turned off by her, you know. So it's about more of an awareness now. And she likes people, like, you know, it's interesting. I think that's a little bit of a subtle little peek into the peek. That's a little subtle, like, peek into her character as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. I really like that we're seeing this progression and how her relationship to these specific people are changing her so much. And then
It's making her needy, which is interesting. That if
well,
you're a
it's
good
not
person,
so much
you're
needy. I think it's more just the give and take of wanting to help other people and have other people help you and have these interactions and have it just kind of enrich your life and not feel so lonely and so like you have to do everything by yourself.
Yeah, but she's pretty dependent on the study group at this point. She's
at this point, I mean, she's still pretty independent, but I don't know if I would say it's a crutch. I think that's kind of a
well, not a crutch, but like
yeah,
therapy
I feel
for
like
sure.
this is it's a way for her to become better, which is ultimately what the whole plan was. And so now she's saying, okay, this whole time, Michael and Janet have been like, if these four split up, this is going to be the end of it. That's going to be the end of everything that happens. Luckily, they're all saying, look, okay, we have different things that we can't just let everything stay exactly the same forever, but we can make an effort that every year we'll all get together. We'll have a Brady Bunch reunion. We can hang out either in Tahani's mansion or Jason's swampland, and for some reason we picked Jason's swampland, I guess. I don't know. It's
that
sinking.
may or may not be splutted by the time we get to that.
by the end of the
But that
year.
was better than her mansion. I don't know.
The only thing that got me was this is Michael saying, this can't happen. We need to change this any way that we can. We're arson. Only 5 innocent bystanders get hurt. To me, this whole time is I'm sitting here going, okay, but why are these 4? And they keep bringing it up on the show. Why are these 4 so important? Why is it specifically these 4 people of all of the people that they have at their disposal who have died? Why is this all about these 4 people? And I think that that's going to play in later. There's going to be some sort of explanation. I mean, this is getting into a little prediction-y territory, but I feel like it's going to play back onto Michael.
Yeah. Well, I feel as though these 4 people is a part of his transformation.
That's what I think it is.
Like, he starts off as a demon, he doesn't have any moral compass, sort of speak, and then Chidi and breaks it down to him or explain to him how did it go. He explained to him basically to make him feel more human, like tried to help him feel more human. And now he's kind of like addicted to, just like Eleanor to the study group. I feel like he's addicted to them as well.
Again, I just don't really feel like it's that he's addicted to it. I think it's just that he feels a security and he's happy with these people, and he and Simone working together to create this, what is now his new life mission, because he threw away his old dissertation and he's starting completely over with this one, all based on the what do we owe each other and the neurological aspects of it. So, I mean, I feel like in this case, this is not necessarily Chidi or any of them leaning on each other as a crutch. It's just them kind of helping each other. But Janet feels like that's enough. Like, at this point, we've introduced them, we've set it up. You can't just keep resetting the timeline. This isn't like your neighborhood, Michael. Michael just takes this to go, oh, what a great idea. We'll reset the timeline. You distract the judge.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the exact opposite of what you just told me. I'm going to try to go,
and thank you for it.
Yeah. And even explains, I have no idea how to reset the timeline on Earth. This is probably a bad idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. Then the ultimate cliffhanger.
Yep.
The Brady Bunch, they walk in and they see the portal to another dimension, to the good life, afterlife, bad life, bad place, judge chamber.
Which is interesting to me because they have seen Michael in so many different characters at this point. I'm wondering, will they connect it? Is it to the point where he comes to Earth and they can't see him? Like, does he look different
No, they
to them?
see him. They know that because they even said last episode Trevor was like, you can't go back in there. They've already seen you.
Yeah.
So we know that that's been established, that they know that Michael, they see his form. They know like his physical form. They've all seen him at some point.
Because he doesn't do costumes. He just basically does name changes.
Different names.
It's kind of like Batman, where he just put like the mask there and it's like, oh, you totally don't know that's who he is. We can still see you, Michael, at this point. But Michael, I mean, especially with Chidi, he has conversations with Chidi, and I believe episode 2, when he's talking to him in the library and they're going over he's trying to help him make a decision.
Yeah.
So at some point, someone has to say, hey, why have you been so much in our lives for the last year plus at this point?
Which, maybe that'll be what happens next week. Do you want to maybe dive into some predictions and say what we think is going to happen?
Let's dive in.
Let's do it. You have to celebrate with the light show whenever we have our predictions here.
Sci-fi-ish.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, now that these 4 have seen Michael, he's going to have to explain what's going on. They're going to have some sort of explanation. I don't think that they're going to reset the timeline on Earth.
I hope not at this point.
What do you think? Because I feel like now, because it's a good point that you brought up, is that they've already seen Michael's face.
That can't be in the change of pace. It's just, okay, we're just going to reset it from the beginning. Like, that can't be the go-to for all the different seasons. They at some point have to figure out how to solve it or, go for it some type of way. Which is why I thought the judge was interesting, because at least they added a new character. Now they're in the bad place. There was new elements coming in. But then they went back to Earth and, once again, so...
But now that they're all seeing Michael, and they have all seen his face, so it's like wait, aren't you the guy from the bar? Aren't you the guy from the library? Aren't you?
Et cetera,
and then
et cetera.
a point out where it's also like, and what is this weird glowing orb? We've seen both of you guys. We need some answers. I think they're going to have to explain. I mean, at this point, all the rules are out the window.
Or they may escape back through the portal with them. Maybe they'll go back to the judge.
I don't think so, because the
He'll
judge
hide 'em
said,
somewhere
like,
in the
if
bad
you
place.
come back here, I'm waiting for you. The second you walk through that door, I'm here. I'm waiting. So I don't think that they're going to be able to. And plus, at this point, the 4 aren't dead. So it's like, if they brought them into the afterlife, they're virtually killing them. So it's like, it seems like that. I don't know. I just don't think that's where they would go.
I'm wondering if they're going to play with memory a little bit. Will they all of a sudden remember being in a good place and have something where they all of a sudden, remember all the different tests and at least the last go around or something?
Well, we also know that the copy of Cannonball Run 2 that Mindy has is actually a tape of Eleanor and Chidi confessing that they love each other. That still exists, so
I think they're going to play with that later in the season.
it's potential. I mean, they could potentially show them that tape. They could potentially show them these different things. There might be a way to let them know that this has been the situation. But by doing that, would that mess everything up? Would that reset it? So
That was a great cliffhanger because it's hard to predict where it's going to go. It can go so many different ways at this point.
I have no idea where they're going to take it.
But at this point, they should definitely recognize him and connect the dots, And
I think so, too.
And I believe Janet being so honest, she's going to go ahead and just tell the whole story. It's like, oh, we've been playing with your lives for the last year. And it's like, Janet,
She has no filter. That woman tells everybody everything. I'm like, stop telling this man about Samantha. Like, he doesn't need to read poetry. He's doing things. Let him, oh.
Well,
Anyway.
she tried to save his life.
Yeah,
Tried to
she's
save his
being nice.
relationship.
She's being nice. I like it. With so many elements that are brought in to this show and so many different aspects of philosophy and different philosophers that they mention, there's a kind of allusion to Kierkegaard and a little bit of Sartre in here. So we'll go ahead and we'll talk about chalk it up to Chidi. We'll bring in our own virtual chalkboard here.
Was that the sound effect
that
for
was
it?
it?
Yours was totally with you.
As all great philosophers
Totally
know, if you're going to talk about philosophy, you have to go, So this whole idea of does life have meaning is the basis of nihilism. So the idea of, if you've probably heard people say like, oh, that's really nihilistic, or oh, that nihilist, it basically means
Hear
that
it all the
you
time.
have...
We use words like that in my circle.
I mean, you hear it sometimes, and it's like, it's a phrase that's used, but nihilism basically means that you believe that there is no meaning to life. Life has no intrinsic meaning. Kierkegaard was kind of the founder of nihilism. So whenever we say Kierkegaardian, that's who we're referencing, is it's the idea that there is no meaning. Whatever you do doesn't make a difference regardless because meaning doesn't exist.
That's a horrible
It's
philosophy.
pretty,
though.
I know, it's
that can
kind
be
of
really
like,
dark.
It does feel very pessimistic.
Very
but
empty.
Sartre was a follower of Kierkegaard who expanded a little bit on this. There are different kinds of nihilism too. You can look into it. It's like absurdist nihilism and different things. But anyway, Sartre said, no, there is no intrinsic meaning in life. Life does not hold meaning. There is no meaning to life, but there can be if we create it, if we assign meaning, if we find meaning for ourselves. Then that's the meaning that we have.
And that sounds like religion, basically.
Yeah,
that
and that's
translates
kind of,
into
that's religion, different things. Basically anything that gives your life meaning. Whatever you assign to it, that is the meaning for your life, which that answers the question, what's the meaning of life? It's whatever it is to you. That's what Sartre would say. That's, I think, where Michael is. Where Michael, to him, his existence, the meaning of it was intrinsically first. There really is no meaning. It's just you live, you die.
Continue living for
you
him.
Go to, yeah, for him.
You live
it
and you live
just
some more.
continues. But for the humans, once they pass, they go to either the good place or the bad place. The architect sets that up. Then they leave. They go on to their next project. And that's just, it's kind of the mentality of, you work, you go, you do what you have to. But now he's kind of gotten more into the Sartre mentality of there are meaning, but you have to assign it. And part of that meaning is connecting with other people. So having this connection with these 4 people and him continuing to say, these 4 people are the reason. They're the only thing that matters. Everything on earth. Like, this is all for these 4 people.
Which is very selfish. Very
It
selfish.
is, but it makes me think that there has to be a reason. It makes me think that there has to be, I mean, maybe that's just the Sartre and me.
Or that's just the
like,
4 stars of the show, you know?
Maybe.
They're just the
I don't
4
know,
stars of the
it feels
show.
like there should be some sort. I mean, it's almost like the trolley problem of like if there are random people who get hurt versus one person that you care about, which do you pick? For Michael, he's like, hurt anybody as long as it doesn't hurt these 4.
Yes.
So
He's more practical. He's about a number. Risk the 5 for the 1. I mean, risk the 1 for the 5.
But it's like whoever is most meaningful to him. So for him, it's those 4 people. I'm interested to see how this plays out and why particularly these 4 people are making such an impact and why the 4 of them together. Especially because Simone, who seems to be the one who's influencing Eleanor the most, even more than Chidi, isn't part of that core 4.
She was interesting
to
to
see,
do her character.
that she's like
I'm surprised
a
they
fifth
gave
member.
Chidi a love interest.
I like
Them
it,
giving
though.
Tahani a love interest, totally got it. But totally get it. But yeah.
But Chidi, it is weird. Especially because Simone is so likable. I love Simone.
And then someone who also is an expert, not an expertise in philosophy, but she does is parallel her being
her
into
neurology and
neuroscience.
I love that. I think and there's
see
a
next episode.
perfect-
It's building
It's
for sure.
so much all together. This show it makes my brain explode, but in the happiest way. Ugh.
You got a pun for that one?
No. But we love hearing all of your theories, especially with this show. There's so many different directions that it can go. So all the fan theories we absolutely love hearing. Please continue to comment and rate and subscribe and keep up with us. 5 stars, 5 stars.
Yes.
And keep hanging out with Sari and me because we love talking about this stuff with you guys. Until next week, where can everybody find you?
Funny Sarai on Instagram and Twitter. I don't know why I did it with an accent, but it's spelled Sayrie. Check
And
it
you
out.
guys can find me on Instagram at that Alana Jordan Girl and on Twitter at Alana Jordan. And you can find us all here at AfterBuzz TV. And you'll see us both next week. And Taylor will be back next week too. Woohoo! See you guys then. Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.